Okay.
Women Matters in the first days of December 2024. Here is Austria, Italy, and San Diego, more or less, California altogether. And who, I think we go to you, Victoria, because you have to eat your breakfast. So you first do your check-in and then you can eat con calma, we say in Italian.
Con calma, sì, con calma. Parliamo italiano. Giorno tutti. We should try Italian. Italian women matters. And then French. Well, my main check-in, unfortunately, is that I'm just incredibly, insanely exhausted. And I'm so exhausted that I cried all morning this morning. And it doesn't have to do, I mean, my life is a nightmare, but doesn't mean I have to cry every day. I don't know. I'm just the exhaustion is really intense. I feel right now, I feel like there's like a sheet in front of me. So, but I came in my faithfulness to the women matters, the women who matter in my life. And it could have to do with the fact that yesterday was that for the last 50 years, apparently the Diocese of San Diego has been kicking off, so to speak, the Feast of the Virgin of Guadalupe, she's the patroness of all the Americas for the Universal Catholic Church. So she's a big figure, which I didn't know, not being actually Catholic. But anyway, they have a huge, huge procession that goes through the downtown area. Well, actually, it's a residential area adjacent to downtown. And there are about 50 floats. All the different churches, they get someone to do kind of like a Christmas pageant. They have these cars, and then they choose a young girl who dresses up as the Virgin of Guadalupe, and then Juan Diego, who's the peasant that had the vision in the 16th century. They get a little boy that dresses up as an indigenous boy. Anyway, they have mariachi bands, but my favorite thing, oh, here's Gertrude. Wow, it's a big crowd today. Anyway, we went last year for the first time, and then I loved it so much we went again yesterday. But that's possibly why I'm so exhausted, because the whole thing takes about 6 hours. So it's very intense, lots of walking. Hello, Gertrude. And they have, but what I loved was the indigenous dancers who have all these shells on their legs, and they have these huge, beautiful feather. Wow, it's a huge crowd. Anyway, so it was very festive, and they blow the conch shells, the dancers, and they have these yeah, as I said, that they have these little shells on their legs, and they play these indigenous flutes with these kind of wild, strange melodies. It just feels really ancient, ancient, ancient. And they lead the procession. Oh, and they have this incense made from a special tree. And I asked the ladies what it was, the ladies that were holding the big censers, and this big smoke is coming out. And they didn't speak English, so they didn't know what I was asking them, but they reached into two women at the same time reached into their bags and gave me some incense to take home. And I don't know, that was a small gesture, but I don't know, it meant a lot. I just felt really like a solidarity with this ancient tradition. And so that was a really beautiful day. And I think that's why I'm a wreck today, because it was miles and miles of walking and standing and walking and standing. But I loved every minute of it. So that's my check-in, and I will pass it to Monia, who was here before I was and was waiting patiently.
Well, that sounds really fascinating. I would love to watch that. I could even hear it while you were describing it, the noise and the music. But I'm exhausted as well. I complained today. but an astrological friend told me that's the sign of the time, and it's Pluto and it's Uranus, and everything will be new. And so, okay, so I just sit back and wait until I gain my strength again. Unfortunately, we don't have such nice, noisy entertainment in Vienna. We have now a quiet time, the Advent, and we have all these markets. In former times, it was just little stalls where they sold handcraft and pastries. And now they have ice skating and noise, and so it's really, but they don't have the manger anymore. So they try not to be too Christian in Vienna, not to offend our Muslim inhabitants. Anyway, I'm going to visit one sometimes next week. And my daughter went to the provinces, to a lake, Lake Wolfgang, and it's beautiful there. They have really romantic settings and no ice skating and no other entertainment and carousels. And so it's still the old-fashioned way in the provinces. But Vienna is, well, changed a lot, has changed a lot. I pass on to Gertrud, whom I haven't seen quite some time.
Yeah, hi. I had technical difficulties in coming in on time. And I have to leave soon because tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock I need to get up again to work with the Australians, and then hop on the train to Amsterdam. So I'm a little bit exhausted. Yeah, washing and doing all the preparation and meetings and coachings and whatever. So. By the way, I'm Gertrud from Germany in the middle. And I had a just amazing week. On one hand, I was sick and I had a bruised rib. But on the other side, I was at a so-called pain-free summit with an amazing guy who's 26, who created like to have the body structured like it was meant to be. And this guy is really amazing, and I learned quite a bit, and I got a body, what do you call a body structure scan, so to say. So they did pictures, so you had not much on, and then to see how the axis, how you differ from the axis, and it was so interesting that from my navel on, I'm like, so my head lands on the left side of the axis, and this was really really interesting, and how he does that. And so normal sports, don't do that. No yoga, just before you're, because otherwise you feed the compensation. And
How do you call it? How is it called?
Der Schmerzfrei Summit, and the company they created is the original body. And his name is Justus Hirt. Justus Hirt, wie der Hirte ohne E. Yeah, and this is just yeah, I learned so much, and I don't want to get too much into the details, but if you want to hear more about it, this is like, yeah. So I was very intrigued. Justus Hirt. So he is, I think he's German living in Switzerland. And that's what I did. So it's in German. I don't know if and when they go to the international realm. So that's me at the moment. And I pass on.
Gerhard, you did that live or on Zoom or?
Zoom.
Oh,
And they are very good at correcting. So they ask you to put the camera on, and we did self massage and how what did they say? The normal stance. So how to bring your body into upright position, that all the joints are stapled and not like just with gravity pressed somewhere. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So who hasn't spoken yet? Okay, I go with you, Christine. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Let's see. Spent most of the weekend decorating the house for Christmas. Takes about 2 days, and I'm not finished, mostly because I didn't want to put up some of the decorations. It's taxing to do that. So I'm just waiting. May do it, may not do it, I don't know. But let's see. Two things have been, I've been out of sorts lately. One of them is the election, and every time somebody comes in for therapy, they want to complain. I've probably listened to 15 stories of people upset, angry, scared, fearful, all the terrible negative emotions, to maybe one, probably 15 to 1 is the ratio, I would say, of people that are upset about how the election came out and worried about the future. It's not just the election, it's all the other things that come with it, obviously. So everybody's kind of holding their collective breath to see what happens. And at least the people I know, again, obviously people voted for Trump, but I'm not in those circles. And then the other thing was that my colleague in the office suite where I am let me know a couple of weeks ago that come January 1st, I would no longer have access to the office on Wednesdays. Because when the lease came due again, everybody wanted to do a 5-year lease. And I said I was not prepared to commit to 5 years in the office. I knew that was way too long for me. So one woman took it over, and I'm subleasing 2 days from her. And I never imagined that she would unilaterally decide that I wouldn't be there on one of the 2 days. That's like cutting my work back by 50%, essentially, is what she told me. So today I'm talking with the other person who uses the office to see if we can work something out. I really can't just, in a few short weeks, just stop seeing these people, transition them. I mean, the choices are they'll terminate therapy and we'll wrap things up. That usually takes a while. It's not done in just a few short weeks. It usually takes time to complete that. I could transfer them to another therapist, another live therapist, if that's what they want. And the other is maybe they would want to see me for telehealth. But essentially, I was really upset at first. And then I kind of said, you know, maybe this is a message to me that it is time. I've been talking about retirement and scaling things back. And so I think I'm just going to use this as another opportunity to really cut things back so that by the end of 2025, and maybe sooner than the end, I'll have stopped maybe all but just a few telehealth people. That's kind of what Lorraine does. I think she sees 1 or 2 people telehealth, and I could imagine seeing a few people. Some of these people I've seen a long, long time, not because they have any acute difficulties, but because they have lousy support systems. They don't have people to help them when the stress goes up, when they become depressed, when something goes wrong, something unexpected comes up. A lot of these people just don't have a lot of psychosocial support. And so I've been seeing them for a long time. So those 2 things have got me kind of off kilter. Don't necessarily feel the usual optimism and hope that I normally have. I'd say regarding the election, I do feel like my optimism tries to come through, and I basically believe in people and that they want to do good. So it may not look like what I think is good, but I'm hopeful that people want to do something helpful to other people, that people hopefully will not just be self-serving and help themselves, but I'm hoping that a lot of these people want to do something helpful for everybody. So that's my wish, my Christmas wish. And I will turn it over to Heidi.
Yeah, thank you. I hope my internet will work enough that you can hear me. I don't have to tell a whole lot. I already before told Monia that I have a new electric bike, which I have to learn to ride like a normal car with a clutch, because it's a little bit surprising. But I'm trying to not get scared and do it anyway and learn it anyway and not give in and say, oh no, I'm too old and No, go ahead. And altogether, the weather is still quite good. So I was in the sun today. I enjoy to be outside and get the sun, listening to something or reading something. Yeah. About dreaming, maybe we will talk still when we come around about lucid dreaming or also dreaming or sleeping or something like that. The exhaustion, I think, yeah, I have it often too, but I also confide in what they tell me about the energies which are coming in from the sun and whatever it is, that it is very tiresome for the body to stand, to work through. So that's at least so I console myself. That's nothing important. Not yet the age, hopefully. So, Gina, you are an age, how do you say, apostle, an age?
Possible. Actually, I really like that. I would say that one of the things that comes through in my sociology class is I am actually an activist. I'm not your typical activist. I'm quiet, covert activist. So I've had a pretty tough couple of weeks. My dad passed away unexpectedly on the 27th. And since then, I've been working really hard to maintain my school, which is kind of tough. And my husband gave me the look when I signed on this call saying, like, you know, you have a paper, right? And I'm like, yes, I have a paper. But this group is really important to me. So, and I'll be okay in a minute. But yeah, it's been really tough dealing with everything that goes with that. So just to make this all kind of loopy, I get myself back on track. I actually started a business 8 years ago called Personal Passage Planning, which Heidi and I have spoken about. And it was about making sure that we're always prepared for life events, so that whether it's a change in our health or a change in our circumstances due to economics or marriage or whatever, but also so that you don't burden your family. with all the things that come after someone's death. And that was inspired by my neighbor across the street who, in some traditional ways of looking at things, her husband did all the finances. He could write a check. He could use a credit card. Didn't know how to drive. Everything was in his office, and he died. And she had to find her way back through that. So I'm about to personally test drive how well I did when I did this with my dad, which I did about 4 years ago. So yeah, that's been kind of interesting, and just knowing that he thought through all his end of life arrangements, and I have everything in one binder, and as bad as it is, because he has friends all over North America, great communities in Florida with his church and his Canadian club and Lumberland club, and great community in Toronto, and our families across the country. So it's a lot to bring in when people are being compassionate to you and passing on condolences, but I'm getting through it. I managed to get through my exam and a whole bunch of papers and presentations, and one foot in front of the other as we go. And this paper, which I will do as soon as we get off the call, is a good one. It's fun. It's talking about, my research topic was later in life learning, and so I had to do a sort of like a learn how to research project. And so writing up that is going to be really fun because I've had a lot of good findings. And so as much as it's going to be a lot of work, it's going to be a lot of fun. And other than that, it's a beautiful day in Victoria. We've had some snow on our mountains, so our mountains look like mountains. Good. Lots and lots of fluffy snow, particularly to the south in America on the Olympics as well. So yeah, you know, Kuma Matata, life goes on. It's a circle. It's the way it is. But thank you for being here. Thank you. I'll say one more thing. Because I always try to find something good news. My father was extraordinarily healthy. He had just had new cataracts, brand new, high-tech hearing aids, got his hernia fixed, took care of some skin cancer in his face. He was basically good to go. The good news is he died suddenly in the most vibrant day after winning a lawn bowling game the day before, which he was really proud of. So if you're going to go, for him, that was the best way to go.
How old was he, Gina?
88, but he didn't look 88. I used to be accused of being his girlfriend. So he's always been very young, very vibrant, active golfer, singer, lawn bowler, you know. So yeah, but he had a I don't think he had too many days he regretted as he worked through you know, these various surgeries. But oh well, he was good to go. But apparently he went up. I'm okay now.
We were saying to maybe talk about lucid dreaming, but we could also talk about the dream of life. And in the case of your father, did he realize his dreams in his life? And how far are we in realizing our dreams? Could also be a topic. We have only a half hour left, but maybe something we can collect.
If I could, I don't mind talking about lucid dreaming. I think lucid dreaming is fine, but I think what he demonstrated is that you live every day and you have no regret. So he was a fighter. He was the firstborn of a firstborn. I mean, large family. By fighter, I mean survivor. He survived polio at 17. He was very sick, and he never ever considered himself handicapped, even though most of his leg was eaten away by polio. So he was a basketball player. Okay, you're not going to run or play basketball anymore, but he did do little tennis. He did do curling. He never let any of that hold him back. And he was a very innocent soul. Even in business, like you couldn't find anything. He was just like an innocent, good guy. And, you know, his thing is don't have any regrets and go for it. Keep dreaming, keep living your dream. And I think he did because he didn't hold himself back.
Gertrude, are you living your dream?
In many ways, yes. I would say so. And my family, like that's one big thing that really is really nice. And yeah, and we're pretty close together. I mean, my girls and grandkids, and so my siblings, it's a more distant but good. And so this is one, I think that's one pillar of my life that really I'm really happy about. I think where I'm not living my dream is money-wise, though I used to. So what I have learned, and so I'm a lifelong learner, I cannot help it. But and even there were a year when I was on social support, and I started my body therapy training. I don't know how I did it, but somehow with scarcity comes also creativity, and yeah, in my health there's some things that could be better, but I'm really like creating myself every day, and I'm what you just said, yeah, to live your life every day and no regrets if it's over. That's so almost, yes. Yes.
Monia, I think you are our elder in the scope.
Yeah,
You live your dreams.
I was just looking back, and I'm wondering because I didn't have any dreams for my life. I just lived it all the time and lived it well, I guess. Also money-wise, so it's just money was no problem because my husband has been supporting me gladly, and now I am supporting him gladly. But at 88 is a very advanced age for a man. This is what I learned. And once you are past 83 as a man, you have probably chances to get older. And my husband is now 83. And I lost my father rather early. He died of cancer due to his profession because he was a dentist and they didn't have this protection against x-rays at that time, and he always did the x-rays on the patients. So he really couldn't enjoy his retirement at all. And yeah, as Victoria mentioned before, that somehow her days are a nightmare. My days are just pleasant, but the dreams still bother me. And now we had a meeting on lucid dreaming and on dreaming as such, and I changed my approach to dreaming. And now I have to be careful that I don't dream too much, because they become very vivid and pleasant as well. So yeah, I'd rather not dream, but be awake in every respect, in my dreams and during the day. But I guess I lived all I was able to live, and I did cross a few barriers that I never dreamt I would cross. So I don't have any regrets at all. It's just a full life I'm looking back on, and every day, every new day, is just an extra bonus. But I'm right now, I returned to Weinreb at the Kabbalah and the sofa, and it's still something I really have to dig my way through, because it's very different from the way we think. On the other hand, there is something that appeals to me in the concept of the word, that every letter is a vibration and something that creates things. So that really has fascinated me all my life, or half my life, let's put it this way. And this is still something new, and so it's not that it's a repeat. I'm trying to find the vibrations in the words. And when we are talking to each other, I sometimes notice also that there are vibrations I get in resonance with. So it's still fascinating. I mean, I'm 83 and it's still I'm still curious, and it's still fascinating. And I won't talk about sex anymore, but Heidi knows this still hasn't ended yet. So it's just fascinating that at old age you still can enjoy a lot of things. Yeah. I don't know whether I made sense and whether it was coherent, but I was just drifting along. Who wants to go on now after me? I just leave it open.
I did want to ask you, Monia, did you train yourself to do the lucid dreaming from Andrew Holochek, or did you learn it in any particular way, or you just realized you had the ability?
I had the ability a long time ago, and then I stopped because it was just, I couldn't make any sense of it. I didn't know what to do. And then now I finally found out what you can do. And we had, I look it up. The book was, it's also on YouTube, Roll something, I'll look it up. And he gives you that when you go to bed, you just have the firm intention to have lucid dreaming. And I trained myself, it's just a couple of days now, to wait until the last REM phase at the morning, because then this is the longest REM process, and you can really use it for lucid dreaming because you don't sleep as deep as you do before, so you are much easier aware of what you're dreaming. But I'll check on the name of the author, and you can also find a couple of oh, this is in German. I'm sorry, Scoble has a very interesting talk on YouTube, but he's German. But I'll look that up. Okay, I put it in the chat once I found it.
Go ahead, Christine. Your dreams. No, I don't hear you. You are.
I would like to be able to lucid
Mhm.
dream. Sounds good. I don't remember a lot of dreams. I used to when I was younger, but I think I don't know. I don't wake up a lot during the night anymore, which is good. I used to wake up a lot, uh, and then have to struggle to go back to sleep. I've been sleeping more soundly, but I still don't remember my dreams very much at all. So I would like to be able to use, that's a lot of hours of the day. I would like to be able to have access to them and what's going on. So
Your life dream?
my life dream. I think I'm pretty much living it. Tom and I celebrated our 40th anniversary a week ago, and we were with our children and our son-in-law to be. And it was very nice. And we did reflect back on our journey together. And I think we're both pretty satisfied about the choices we made, the work we put into it, you know. So I don't, I'm not sure that I had a specific dream in my life. I guess I'm still looking forward to the future. So maybe I do have some dreams yet to come, but I'm not quite sure what they are. But no, I think it's been pretty good. Pretty good ride.
Good, good. Oh, either Gina or Victoria, what is your dreams? Life dreams or night dreams?
I'm okay to go. Well, it looks like Victoria, you're looking for your on button. I think we have different types of dreams. So I've always been a very vivid dreamer, and my favorite dreams were when I could fly, and I often flew as a person, flying through the sky over schoolyards, and I really enjoyed flying. But also I noticed that because I consider myself highly sensitive, and sometimes I can, through my spiritual work, it gives me access, much like Monia, you talk about vibration of words. My emotional spiritual journey meant I can see auras, and sometimes I hear people who thought, and I don't realize they haven't said them, so I respond to them, and they are shocked because they didn't say it out loud. And so I've actually done a lot to try and turn off some of those distractions. But some of my dreams are so vivid that it's like they are happening now, or I'm receiving a message from like my daughter, and it is clear it's her voice. I'm getting a message. Other dreams are maybe about houses that there's many rooms they have to explore, and they're everywhere. So those are kind of fun. And how does that relate to my personal dreams? Well, I think I'm actually a very fortunate person. I have sufficient means to do most of the things I want to do. I have a very supportive and loving husband, and who's was number 2 on my list for men in the world, but is now number 1. And I have a pretty good family. My kids are good, and living my dream was I sort of started a lot of dreams. When I joined the Navy, that was going to be my dream, but then I met my husband and changed my dream to business consulting. And then leaving business consulting, now my dream is to keep learning, keep working, not necessarily for money, but to be highly involved in my community and be known in my community and make a difference. And so through these conversations that I get to have with you guys, and through my connections with the Chamber and the Elder Friendly Community Network here and school now, I think I can continue to reinvent myself. So instead of retirement, we have rewirement, and look forward to what that means for me. But I'm a pretty content girl, and I would be just lost if I didn't have a sense of purpose and some challenges in my life. So if I can't If I don't have one, I go looking for one, and then I work on that.
Yeah, Gertrud, you need to leave. I hope Victoria stays here to be able to tell us about her dreams and life dreams.
Well, before everyone else came on, when I was with, I think it was just Monia and Heidi. Oh no, I think Christine, you were there. Well, anyway, my dream is to sell everything I have. Well, have somebody else do it for me because I don't want to do it. Give all the money to the poor, and then go and work with the poor. Or I really would like to work with children, orphans and whatever, at-risk children. There's so many children, well, children even with parents, that they'd be better off if they were orphans because the parents are so abusive. But I don't know how to achieve that dream. I barely, my mother's estate still isn't settled, and it's all so traumatic for me that even the few objects that came to my house, which are all things like candles and pillows, things that I thought I could use, and all the really important things have gone into storage because I couldn't handle the whole. Everything is tainted. Everything feels. The candles I can burn, and then they're gone, and then I don't have to feel traumatized. So the dream, yeah, I'm far, 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 far from achieving my dream. And even a very quotidian, ordinary, run-of-the-mill dream for me, which would be to play concerts, has gone by the wayside now. I'm fighting like mad to try to find a venue and find people to collaborate with, because I lost my whole infrastructure, which I think I already told everybody about, I don't know, about a year ago, I guess it is now. And every time I go somewhere and meet new people, they ask me if I'm retired, and it makes me want to literally like tear them to shreds and scream and scream and scream and hit them and abuse them. Of course, I don't do any of that. I just smile and I say, "Oh no, what gave you that idea?" But it's really, really painful. I feel really ancient and old and decrepit. I have horrible arthritis now. I don't even know if I can play the violin anymore, but I don't feel retired. I feel like I have a lot. Well, just Heidi, you'll appreciate this. The On Saturday there was a sing along of the Messiah by Handel, so it was with an orchestra, and then the audience was the chorus, which I thought was going to be horrible, but somebody gave me tickets to it. I wouldn't have bought tickets to hear amateurs in an audience that were just thrown together sing the Messiah. But it turned out that there were a lot of like really serious singers there. It actually sounded really, really good. And anyway, I went with a friend, and he played the piano when he was young, but then he hasn't done anything with music for decades and decades, and he claims he can't read music anymore, which it's like saying you can't ride a bicycle. Well, maybe in your case, I do with the fancy bicycle. Anyway, long story short, my garage, I can't even, I have everything you could need for several lifetimes in my garage from previous lives. But it was too daunting to go in there and look for it. So I got the score out of the library, and a whole bunch of scores. I just ordered whatever they had because I wanted to go down to the library and see what was relevant. And one of them was a brand new, totally brand new. It was just thrilling. A huge box with the orchestral score, the full orchestral score, and then all the parts. And that, of course, broke my heart because I immediately thought, wouldn't it be fabulous if instead of like going to this event, I had my own little orchestra and choir, and I could conduct and, do all these fabulous things. Anyway, so I took the orchestral score and put it on a music stand and used my finger to show my friend to follow the orchestral score. And anyway, what am I talking about? I'm just rambling. I guess what it showed me was that I have, in teaching, that's what it was. That's my dream. I feel like now I know a lot more than I mean, it just makes sense, than I did when I was younger. And even though I thought I knew a huge amount about music, which I guess I did, I mean, it's my profession, but there's so much more I could share and so much more I could convey to people. And then a week ago, I had an experience like that, coaching a young Chinese boy on a Rachmaninoff piano prelude. It was just a spontaneous thing. Um, but he asked me some questions. It was just a social gathering, but there was a piano there. And I heard myself saying all these things about teaching him how to interpret the music and how to understand and all these things. So the dream is still there, the desire is still there, and ironically, I think I have 100 times the insight and wisdom, which makes sense, that because you accumulate it over the decades. And so my dream is to share it before I die, somehow, and not just, I don't want to spend the rest of my life just complaining like Christine's clients and I don't know, trying to just sleep, let alone lucid dream. So that's that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But I was thinking while you were saying you want to sell your house and give the money to the poor, why don't you teach music to the poor in your house? That came immediately to my mind. That would be much better than having them eat some more hamburgers, So good idea, maybe. Christine, you want to say something?
That, as you were talking, I was also
You're mute.
thinking, music. Oh, no, I'm not muted. No.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay. I was thinking of music and disadvantaged children. You want to work with the poor, there's plenty of disadvantaged children, immigrant children, and finding some way to incorporate, I don't know, fundraising so they could have instruments, so they could be in the school band, some kind of fundraising for instruments. I mean, it's a big undertaking. If you were to become a music teacher, you need to have clientele, and that's a whole thing. But there may be organizations where there's already some kind of a slot for you and your expertise, Victoria, because you can do so many things. I mean, you
Well,
have a wealth of things to offer.
yeah, sorry to interrupt. No, here's the thing, and I'm totally happy if anyone can help me brainstorm. Since I lost my sort of venue and my sort of cushion of opportunity, where all I had to do literally was send an email and say, I'd like to do this, and they would send me a date, and that was it. And all the publicity, everything was done. The money came in, I got income, I got a public, etc. Since then, I've been sending unrelentingly, like every day practically, I send an email to some organization that is doing just that, offering my services to teach, play a benefit concert with all the proceeds to go to the cause, whatever charity it is. I mean, you name it, I've done it. In terms of coming to my house, Heidi, it's there's not even parking for the people that live here. So, and I'm on top of a mountain. So I've thought that through. I'd have to sell this and get something more practical in location. But anyway, I'll have to focus on my dream. But no, but here's something that in general, it is like giving the poor, giving the money to the poor, and what do they use it for, and how far is there enough, all those issues of how these problems in our society, they're so complicated to solve because they require so many different things to I mean, I've offered myself literally everything I have to offer, my teaching skills, my performing skills, my and also even as an art historian. I mean, I could teach art history in any institution, any university, anything. And I have tons and tons and tons of knowledge, and I'm just bursting with enthusiasm. And I love it more than life itself. I love both of my professions. But here's the rub, as Shakespeare would say. I haven't been able to find anyone to pick up the torch and say, yeah, that would be great. Let's work on a project together. There's nobody out there. Like, everyone's doing their own thing and they're blinded. Nobody has time. I get these lovely emails on a daily basis from all these different charities and organizations that say, oh, you're so generous. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the whole world were just like you? That's just so beautiful that you want to do this. Unfortunately, and then it goes on, it's a rejection letter. And then and what they do say at the end, of course, is, as soon as you've achieved all your dreams and everything's been just a raging success, and you have a big fat check you can send to our charity for all the money that you've made in this enterprise, please do send it. Here's our address. I mean, I literally got a letter like that the other day, where they actually had the chutzpah to take. They sent me their bank code even in the first, like, I sent an email, instead of just saying, oh, let's consider it, which would be the polite thing to do, even if they're going to say no. No, they sent me their bank, the code, so I could wire them the money without any difficulty, and it could go through. This was an international charity, and it's heartbreaking, And I mean, then I thought to myself, okay, well, maybe I should sell everything I have and send all the money to all these different charities. Just go for it and forget about it. But there's something that hurts, because I know money isn't what I have to give on the level of even my neighbors. Even my neighbors in this neighborhood have more wherewithal to make a difference in the world. What I have to offer is up here and in my heart. And I don't, anyway, sorry, I'm ranting and raving. But sorry, you asked me what my dream was. So,
we can see your dream, we can feel your dream, and there is a lot to bring to the world. And
Heidi, you are frozen again, so I'm sorry.
See that it is needed. The places you are looking, I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, she's frozen again.
Yeah. Can't help but notice the similarity of this transition between Christine and you, Victoria. There's something that says renewal, but maybe not in the standard model. And I don't think we can offer you solutions. I think it's maybe not in the standard model. And
Gina,
I think you're going to be successful.
You mentioned something that I got in resonance too. I don't know where, because I've been on so many Zoom talks this week, unusual many. Your telepathic connection. And I heard that about China, that since they had so many restrictions, that they found it a telepathic, yeah, community, sending messages to each other and checking them whether it came out correctly. So maybe this is something we still could work on together, because maybe there will be a time there won't be any internet and any electricity, so we could still, I don't know how to start it, but maybe you could give us some hints, or so we could start a communication without the internet. And as far as I remember, if I remember correctly, in China, those who were connected noticed that there was something wrong, and they left the city, and then there was the lockdown in Shanghai, I believe, and they had all left the city already. So maybe this is a project we could also work on. I don't know how to, but it's maybe something that makes sense to me.
To me, there was something during one of the wars, and I can't remember it very clearly, but it had to do, we'll call it witches, because, that's convenient.
How do you call it?
It was like the witches, sometime during the Second World War, where women were communicating,
Mhm.
with each other, and that's all I remember about it. But good topic.
Julia is going, so bye-bye.
Yeah, I should be going to write my paper.
Yeah, we will be going to our to your day. Anyway, I to bring out to other people that what I mean, for me it's too music, you know, and teaching music, and yeah, I can understand that other people. So we will see what
Mm.
can come along, and maybe we will create a community of telepathy. That would be nice to train it.
Heidi, will you close Zoom or?
No, you need to close that now and say goodbye.
Okay.
And yeah, we see in 2 weeks. Bye bye.
Yeah.